What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video, I wanted to try a triple steel team for the Fantasy Cup Ultra League Edition. If we take a look at the Pokemon that are viable for this meta, Steel, Fairy, and Dragon, Steel is the clear winner, right? It resists both Fairy and Dragon, and it does super effective against Fairy. So of these three typings, Steel is the best on paper. And I wanted to see if it was possible to run a triple steel team to see if it can actually handle the meta. Now we got both wins and losses today. I face off against what might be the hardest counter to this whole team as well, about halfway through the video if you guys want to see how that goes, because that was scary when I saw it, but let's dive right in. Alright, getting into the first battle here, we have Escavalier on the lead versus Flygon. So Flygon, obviously a very nice dragon to face off against a full steel type team, but thankfully it is not flying, right? Its typing is ground dragon, which means counter does a lot of neutral damage. I know it looks like it's a flying type. It literally is called Flygon, but the flying type is gone in this situation. Now, what's cool about Escavalier in this fight is we can get to that double drill run very quickly and allows us to get shield advantage, which with a backline of Melmetal and Perserrker, shield advantage is huge. So I'm going to go ahead and let this go, as Earth Power is not enough to KO. I'm going to go ahead and swap now into Perserrker, and they come in with an Excadrill. So we both swapped at the exact same time. Now, if you're reading this like I am, they likely have Flygon double steel, which means Escavalier, or the Perserrker here, is going to be able to take this game, most likely. I go for close combat. What's cool about close combat, it only lowers my defense. Boom! It doesn't lower my attack. They come back in with Flygon, so I go for the foul play now, which is really nice neutral damage here against the Flygon. And the final Pokemon is a Alolan Sandslash, so we are able to get to the close combat in time. And Perserrker just did a beautiful sweep right here. Boom! One-shots the Sandslash. Steel, I'm telling you, Perserker's pretty nasty, but there's obviously great counters to this team, and we're gonna see that today. All right, we got Registeel now here on the lead, very positive lead for us, especially because of our counter damage, and they swap into Giratina Origin, which Perserrker, I added Perserrker onto the team as one of my steel types, just because of the coverage that it has with Shadow Claw and Foul Play. It's going to be very essential against the Giratinas that you'll face off against, whether that's Origin form or Altered form, as we do super effective damage with both of these moves. They decide to let it go, which is totally fine, and I can fully farm down. Now we will, whatever comes in is going to get hit hard, right? So we're likely going to see shields go up, but let's see what they come in with. They come in with Registeel. And this is going to allow me to potentially get to 2 close combats right here. And it also begs the question, what could they have in the back? And we're just going to go for another close combat. Like, why not right here? Like, close combat and Shadow Claw is such a beautiful combination, especially when they're doing absolutely no fast move damage. Now, I'm going to decide to let this go through, and it is going to be actually a Flash Cannon, so that is enough to KO. And they have a Tapu Fini in the back. So because of our Melmetal here with double Iron Bash, I've seen some comments on my yesterday's video where I had Melmetal on my team as well. It was Flygon, or Melmetal, Flygon, and Giratina Altered. They were saying, you know, why not Thunderbolt? And I thought I'd bring up the case here. Double Iron Bash is, first of all, lower energy than Superpower, which means it can be used as a shield bait, and in a meta with a lot of Steel-type Pokemon, Superpower is going to be crucial for you. Double Iron Bash also does super effective damage against Fairy-type Pokemon. I know in this situation against Tapu Fini, it's not, it's neutral. That's because of the water typing added to it. But if you face off against Clefable, Togekiss, it covers all the Fairies. So you got coverage, and it's also neutral to dragons, right? Most of the dragons. So you got coverage, neutral damage, and shield baiting opportunity, which is why it's just that much better than Thunderbolt in this meta, in my opinion. Now, they tried to catch a charge move right there, but ultimately, it's going to be a good game. I still had Escavalier full health in the back. So triple steel coming in clutch. Good game right there. All right, moving into the next one. We have Escavalier now versus Clefable. So pretty positive lead right here. Let's see what they decide to do. They're going to go ahead and stay in. And if a fairy stays in to a steel type Pokemon like this, you gotta be questioning what is in the back. And in most cases, it's probably going to be other steel type Pokemon. So I'm going to go ahead and swap into Perserrker to first of all catch the charge move. It's going to be resisted on both Pokemon. But I swapped to get ahead on energy and save my Escavalier for whatever they could have in the back. And they do bring in a Scizor. So Scizor, we're just going to go ahead and go for foul plays. There's no reason really to go for close combat, because it's going to lower our own defense, and then the Scizor can actually put in some work against us. So now, if you're reading what I'm reading, just have a thought for a second. What do you think that third Pokemon can be? And in my case, I think it's going to be an Escavalier, right? If we look at the Clefable lead, we got a Scizor that comes in. I really think it's going to be an Escavalier in the back to better handle the rest of the steals, right? Because they don't have a great answer. So I'm actually going to come in with Melmetal right now. And the reason being is Melmetal can load up on energy. I'm free to go for Superpower or Double Iron Bash. Superpower against what I think might be Escavalier in the back. Double Iron Bash against the Clefable. But it's not. It is not. It is not an Escavalier. That is what I thought. But again, sometimes you get taken by surprise. It's actually a Tapu Fini in the back. So I was not suspecting this was an ABA line, and what I mean by that is Fairy, Steel, Fairy, so ABA, right? So we can still have advantage in this situation, because even though we read that it was Escavalier and came in farm down with the Melmetal to get a ton of energy, it still paid off for us because they had Tapu Fini in the back, which our Double Iron Bash was able to go into. So it was a win-win for us either way. And that is going to be a good game to my opponent. There's really not a lot they can do. My Melmetal is going to be the key to victory here. I will decide to shield one Surf though, because I don't want the Tapu Fini to farm me down. And there is still the Scizor that is in the back. So they're going to try their best to get me down. They also, I believe, catch this Drill Run as well. Yeah, they do a beautiful catch right here. But ultimately, my Melmetal is still going to take this game. It is way too strong. It is way too spammy. And I still have a shield. So they come in with Clefable and farm me down. So they do get a good amount of energy right there. But I should be able to get to a Double Iron Bash. I'm going to go ahead and shield and then just load up on energy. Moonblast is resisted, but it still does a good amount of damage. So I'm just going to go ahead and load up. And then look to go for Double Iron Bash here. I think I could have gotten away with maybe one more Thundershock. I didn't want them to get to another Moonblast. So we take out the Clefable, and now we take out the Tapu Fini, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. So yes, I was reading Escavalier. You might have been reading Escavalier, but ultimately it was another Fairy, which we could still handle. We played to that. We came in, loaded up on energy against that Scizor with Melmetal. Good game. Heatran. Man, I saw this. I'm like, there ain't no way. Oh my goodness. Heatran is the hardest counter to this team. It is disgusting what this thing is about to do to me. And they also have Magma Storm. I was hoping they didn't have that. But Magma Storm with... oh my gosh. This is like... what you're going to see is a massacre right here. If you want to take down Steel-type Pokemon in this meta, if you want to take down Escavaliers, if you want to take down Fairy-type Pokemon other than Tapu Fini, like a Heatran is the way to go, because you're just going to shred through a lot of the meta. So we get 2 shields. I got to come in with Melmetal right now. And I'm just going to be hit with Magma Storms. Like, there's nothing I can do. I'm going to get absolutely deleted here. Magma Storm almost takes us out. I go for the Superpower, and they swap. This battler has... this battler put me in my place in this battle. I'm going to be honest. This doesn't... it doesn't happen often, I would say. What was that? It doesn't happen often, but my gosh, there was nothing I could really do. I got a Heatran into an Escav. I'm running triple steel, so obviously Heatran great against the steel meta and fairy meta, right? It beats 2 of those outside of maybe a Lucario potentially, because it takes super effective damage from counter, and obviously hard hitting charge moves like Drill Run from Escavalier or Excadrill. But not only do they do that, but they caught my charge move on a Florges here. I'm just like, oh, it is so over. So what I'm hoping I can do is counter down, but I don't get it. And now I got to come in with Melmetal, and they come in and they have their own Melmetal in the back. This is so over. Oh my goodness. It's been, oh man, good game to my opponent right here. The Heatran, like, I know a lot of you guys comment down below saying thank you for making a video about this team. I ran this Pokemon or this team and faced off against this all day long. If you guys want to beat Triple Steel, run Heatran. If you guys are going to run Triple Steel, watch out for Heatran. Alright, so we had I believe that was a Melmetal lead, and they come in with Escavalier, so we're going to go ahead and stay in this matchup for 2 reasons. First of all, we're ahead on energy. Second, or 3 reasons. We're ahead on energy. Secondly, we still have great answers in the back to a Melmetal, which is going to be our close combat and superpower, right? Our moveset there. And thirdly, this is a lucky Escavalier that I have, which means it was a lucky trade. I wanted to save on Stardust. And what this allows me to do is usually win CMP ties or charge move priority. The Pokemon in a in any match who has the highest attack, overall attack, not just the IV, right? Overall, so it's the calculation underneath as well. The overall attack wins the charge move priority if you go with the charge move at the same time. So my Escavalier wins charge move priority all the time. Now, we do see that they bring in a Slurpuff here, which does have access to, I believe, Flamethrower. Now, the Flamethrower does do super effective damage against my whole team. Boom. But it's not like a one-shot. This is coming from a Fairy-type Pokemon, so it's not Stab, and Flamethrower is honestly not the greatest fire move out there. So we do get a shield there. They do decide to bring in Melmetal, which is totally fine. And what's interesting is we're both in the 0 shields, which means we both don't want to throw superpower first. So I throw and then swap into Perserrker. Now the reason I do this is my Melmetal is my win condition. They go for their own superpower. And the reason why my Melmetal is my win condition is because it has double Iron Bash for the Slurpuff. So they go ahead and go for double superpower, which is fine. I can come in and load up on energy and go for a double Iron Bash now just before they get to another superpower. This allows me to KO. They've double debuffed themselves, so it's going to do enough damage. And then now I have the charge move ready to go for a Slurpuff, and that is going to be a good game. I don't believe this KOs. Yeah, it doesn't KO. So they do have a Flamethrower, but ultimately because I cleared my debuffs, I'm able to survive, and they actually went for player. Flamethrower wouldn't have been enough there, I don't think anyways. So that is going to be a good game, very well played. All right, moving to the next one. Escavalier versus Clefable. Okay, once again, might read their steel types, but they swap into Giratina Altered, so we're going to go ahead and come in with Perserrker right now. Again, a great answer to those Giratinas when you face off against them with this team, because Shadow Claw, Foul Play. I think overall the MVP of this team is that Perserrker because of its coverage. And then the moveset on Melmetal is very, very nice, right? So we're just going to go ahead and go for a Foul Play here. They do decide to shield, which I thought was pretty interesting, knowing that they will probably lose this matchup. So because they shielded, I'm going to go ahead and give up 1 shield right here because I need to get this Giratina lower, right? If the Foul Play goes through, I need to get this Giratina lower. Hold on, there's something weird going on. So that I can safely no-shield this, right? Giratina is now basically out of the way, and I don't want to give up a shield to take switch, so I'll come in with Melmetal instead and load up on energy. Energy is so much more important on this team than switch advantages, because if for switch advantage you want to have typing advantage, right? But if we have 3 steel type Pokemon, energy is going to be better. So now they decide to bring in Clefable, and well, we have double Iron Bash, and this Clefable is not going to like these. I'm going to be able to throw back to back right now, and then we will see what the final Pokemon is. Not really sure what it could be. I'm guessing maybe a Steel, something to answer to other Steel type Pokemon, so it could be Escavalier, but let's see. And yeah, it is going to be Escavalier. So I go ahead and come into the mirror now, and this should be basically a good game. I can safely shield right here, and then look to go for the drill runs. Now, this is going to be close. I believe they might be one fast move ahead. But this is going to be close, but I should be able to win the race. Yeah, I do get to it in time, so we win CMP tie right there. So that is going to be a good game, very well played. Boom, down goes the Escavalier. All right, moving into the next battle. We have Escavalier on the lead. Okay, so once again, a situation where we're okay with going deep into this because we can win these matchups. As you guys are going to see, I just win CMP time. Most Escavaliers that people invest in it have good or better PvP IVs, and mine's terrible because I went for the lucky trade to save on Stardust years back. But because of that, I can win CMP tie, which means I can now farm down since they decided to no shield. And now I have switch advantage to see what they bring in, and they bring in an Empoleon. So they already have 2 Steel-type Pokemon. And I wouldn't be surprised if they have 3. Running 3 Steel-type Pokemon does have its advantages in this meta, like I've shown already. And now it's just going to be a matter of trying to get rid of this Empoleon before it gets too much energy, because the Hydro Cannon does do a lot, and we don't have any more fast move pressure. We have charge move pressure. So I decide to come in with Perserrker here. And then I'm going to go ahead and no-shield the first Hydro Cannon. Does do a good amount right there. And then I hope that I can get to this foul play in time, which I do. This is neutral damage here to Empoleon, so it should be enough to KO, especially from this health range. So it does. Final Pokemon is going to be Melmetal, and this allows me now to come into the mirror because my Perserrker can easily close this game out. So I'm going to go ahead and throw double Iron Bash first, hoping that they decide to shield, right? But they don't. They let it go through. So that is a good call by them, but ultimately, this is just a massive mind game of who's going to throw Superpower first. So I decide to let this go. It is going to be Superpower, which is fine, because in order for them to win, they have to throw, or they have to land multiple Superpowers. Now, they go for the Rock Slide Shield Bait, but I have double Superpower now, and I can also swap out into Perserrker here pretty soon. So we do get a shield right there. I'm going to go ahead and go for the next one. And then now we're going to look to go into that Perserrker and see if we can win the race. But anyway, Shadow Claw is going to take him out and time it. So that's going to be a good game, very well played. This team was, I believe that was the final one. Nope, we got one more. Sorry. We got one more. Tapu Fini here on the lead. Okay. So this game was against Nessabethan, sorry. A local here in the UK, a very highly skilled battler who competed at EU championships this last summer and did very well. So I got a battle ahead of me. Now we have Tapu Fini here on the lead. I was hoping to store energy because I'm guessing they might have their own Escavalier or a Registeel in the back. So we're going to go ahead and try to play to that, and we're going to let these Surfs go through. My hope is to get this double Iron Bash, but I waited too long. I should have thrown it right away against the Tapu Fini because I needed to get it lower. So now we draw out a Giratina Altered, which in this situation I don't think is terrible. Yes, our Melmetal is basically going to potentially go down, but I can stall the switch clock by going for double Iron Bashes here, as you guys are going to see, and then I can easily come in with Perserrker and look to really load up on energy. So I'm going to go ahead and swap that in, save my Melmetal for a sacrificial swap. So they're going to go ahead and go for charge moves. I'm guessing it's going to be Shadow Sneak, which it is. So it does a good amount of damage, and this is kind of one of those situations where I could commit to the full farm down, but we'll have to see if they decide to stay in because their switch clock is now coming back up. So they do swap out into Tapu Fini. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the foul play here. Both close combat and foul play are resisted, but I didn't want to debuff myself, but it wasn't enough damage. So maybe the close combat was the better call because now they're going to go ahead and go for Surf. So I'm going to give up a shield here to stop the Surf. My switch clock is coming back up. I got a good amount of energy, and this is where I make my mistake in this game, is Registeel. I decided to go for close combat, but where I mess up, so lock-on is doing like no damage, right? Where I mess up is I stay in too long. I should have thrown close combat and gone straight into Escavalier, but instead I stay in and go for another close combat. This not only delays their switch clock, but it also gets my Perserrker way too low, and then I come in with Escavalier way too late. So I should have just thrown close combat and dipped. right? That should have been the play, because now Giratina Altered comes in, and I'm now behind on energy, right? Had I thrown Close Combat right away, come in with Escavalier, we would have been able to get to 2 drill runs in this situation, and this would have been a wrap. It would have been a good game, very well played to them, because I would have been able to take down the Registeel as well. So, I got to come in with Perserrker and hope that I can Shadow Claw it down, but I can't, unfortunately, and they do have a charge move ready to go. So that is going to be a good game, a very close one right there. I made a misplay, but ultimately, that's what's great about looking back at your battles, is you know where you messed up. I should have come in right away with Escavalier after the Close Combat and just loaded up on energy, right? And it would have been over. So, this was a really fun team overall. Again, there are some hiccups or some hard counters out there like Heatran. Watch out for that one. But overall, very fun team. Good game as well too. Nessabeth in there. Really good battle. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And like always, thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.